Beauty and harmony, governed by one eternal law. All that begins must end. The reign of the old shogunate is over! Come on, I had to start at least one video like this in my YouTube career. Overused quotations aside, yes, in today's video I would like to take a look back at RGG Studios' Like a Dragon Ishin, also known as the Yakuza game that takes place in the samurai era, the one that was actually localized and translated to English. This title is beloved but also debated in the Yakuza community. Before starting this review of mine, I wanted to share the fact that this video is part of a playlist collaboration, where all the channels you see on screen have done a video themed around a specific game set in Japan, either real or mythical. After this video, go check out Nino from Nin Hydro, Seb from Jumping Side Games, Seth from JNC Productions, and Jack from Jack's Game Room. Everyone in this project has a fairly small channel, so go check them out and give them some love and attention from my end. I will leave all the links in the comments below. But before that, here's my review of Like a Dragon Ishin. Roll the intro. After the troubled time that was the Senjoku Shidai period, where samurais fought one another to rule the land as shoguns, Japan experienced 200 years of relative peace, where little to no contact was made with the outside world. However, all that starts must come to an end, and by the mid-18th century, the Westerners arrived in the Isle with guns and demands. The military government, headed by the Tokugawa Bakufu, became fragile, and it was a matter of time before a new great war sparked and burned the status quo, a battle between the Japan of yesterday and the Japan of tomorrow. This is the historical prelude of Like a Dragon Ishin, a game set in 1867 in Kyoto, or Kyo as it was known back then. Contrary to other Yakuza games, the main cast of characters is changed, with every quote-unquote actor playing a different role than usual. The protagonist Kiryu, for instance, is actually representing a new protagonist, Sakamoto Ryoma, a real historical figure from the Tosa domain. But let us go with order. What even is a Yakuza game? For those who are not familiar with RGG Studios' formula, the Like a Dragon and the Judgment games have a quite specific structure, one that combines action, usually beat-em-up style combats, with a heavy focus on the main story as well as side content, both missions as well as minigames. If you have played a title of the series before, you will feel at home here, but even if you haven't, it is not a complex game to get into, it just plays a bit different than other similar looking titles. From this point forwards in the review, I will assume you the viewer are unfamiliar with the greater series and with the studio's games as a whole. Like a Dragon Ishin main story is one of vengeance, of forgiveness, and of change, focusing heavily on the main character and the friends and foes he encounters. There is great emphasis of the power dynamics within the Shinshigumi, the organization Sakamoto infiltrated to find out the identity of a secret assassin he faced in the past. As many Yakuza games that came before, the storytelling is on point, with strong acting from the characters, to unexpected plot twists, to one-liners that say more than 1,000 words. It is not the events themselves that are the strongest point of the narrative, but the way these events are told, are shown. That's where the real care can be spotted. The characters, borrowed from previous Yakuza games but casted into new roles, play their parts splendidly. If you played previous Yakuza games, you might recognize the faces and the attributes, but do not worry, the game treats all characters as brand new, making this title accessible to newcomers alike. As stated, the title puts great care in the historical period, with events of the main story linking to real-life counterparts. I cannot assess the degree of accuracy since I'm not a history buff on the time period. Definitely there are some simplifications for the story's sake, but the ensemble is believable, it feels authentic, so much so that a foreigner like myself can immerse in this faraway reality. And it is not solely the main story to showcase this care for detail. The various side stories, sample of the franchise, also teach about the realities of the time period, like the westernization of the Isles, the life of a traditional samurai, and even the Yija Naikai movement. Speaking of the sub-stories, the side missions scattered around Kyoto are of great quality, with some being memorable for their deep reflections or their comedic premises, mostly the latter. It is always a joy to walk around town and find the most odd and bizarre situations to solve. Even talking to a bartender or a pet can lead you to all sorts of situations. Despite the game taking place 100 years ago, the dialogues with the various inhabitants of the capital are fairly modern, in line with other games of the franchise. I will not go the extra mile in claiming Ishin has the best sub-stories of the Yakuza games, but it is definitely up there. Not to mention the side content, ranging from your typical minigames such as fishing, cooking and playing cards, to obscure era-specific activities such as Nihon Buyo dancing, Chohan, and chicken racing. Every minigame gives meaning and purpose to a building, to an entire street, something I always appreciate in world building. There is also sizable side content regarding managing a farm, but to be honest, I have not explored in depth this rabbit hole. It was not my cup of tea and it is fully optional. From what I gather, it can be quite a pain to 100% the title for this, but when did I ever suggest doing that? The strongest undeniable pillar of Like a Dragon Ishin is its narrative, the storytelling, certainly not its gameplay. Speaking of, what about the combat portion of the title? Well, that's where the game showcases some problems that sparks more than a controversy within the community. From a pure technical perspective, there is nothing broken within the combat system. There are 4 different styles to choose from: fist fighting, swordman, gunman, and a combination of sword and guns fighting, the one featured the most in trailers and advertisements alike. In theory, they all work and get the job done when fighting off thugs from the streets, but in practice, there is a great disparity between the 4 styles, meaning that only the swordsman and the combined game style are actually useful against stronger foes. Such unbalance is already bad enough, but what I and many fans find to be out of place is the implementation of the card system. Put simply, roughly halfway throughout the adventure, a new mode is unlocked, where the player can acquire and equip various characters to their fighting styles, unlocking superpowers during combat. These powers can be passive, like gaining health when defeating enemies, or active, like forging a fire tornado with your sword or spiking lightning with your 6-shooter. And mind you, these powers are not solely the protagonist. Major bosses from this point onwards are also using many flamboyant abilities during duels. As you may correctly guess, this breaks the previously described immersion. I personally chose not to use the cards available to me. This decision slightly increased the difficulty of the game, but at least made my experience feel more authentic, closer to the main story. Unfortunately, disabling this feature from the bosses is not possible. This design choice detracts from the experience quite noticeably, especially considering it was not meant to be a secondary mechanic. This is baffling, considering the original Ishin for the PS3 did not have such wizardy wonders. In fact, the reason why this title is debated in the community is specifically because the changes made to the original feel either unnecessary or straight up downgrades. I personally do not consider the new 3 characters casted to be negative, though I have not played nor experienced the original non-localized OG. Also, the decision to use the Unreal Engine 4 rather than Dragon Ishin, while being odd, is not a bad decision per se. The new coding gives a fresh new look at the original PS3 game, and, at least in my experience, the game runs well. It even ran on my old PC. Changing the combat, however, is a hard thing to forgive, a change that was strongly not welcomed by its community that truly affected the reputation of what is otherwise an outstanding game. In fact, I do not wish to close the review here with this bad taste. Rather, I wish to bring back some positivity to highlight how much I enjoyed Like a Dragon Ishin. What I think truly works well in Ishin is its ensemble, its harmony. There is nothing cooler than to roam the streets of Kyoto, swords in hand and steady walk, streets crowded with tradition but with hints of a new age arriving. You are not a simple Ronin, but the Sakamoto Ryoma, a visionary samurai that dreamt for a brighter tomorrow, a reformist, one that imagined a new Japan, a nation linked with its traditions but without the outdated caste system. To this day, Ryoma's legacy is greatly respected, and to see Kazuma Kiryu, one of the greatest protagonists in the gaming world, as defined by a certain somebody 2 years ago, playing this role is truly something special. As it is very special to me, the fact that Sega finally decided to remake a Japan-exclusive title after so much time. There was a moment in gaming history when Japanese developers underestimated and perhaps even appreciated Western gamers, believing they would not be able to understand some of their works. Such was the case for the original Ishin, a title that was deliberately not ported to the West because Westerners would not get it. After playing Ishin, I not only understood an important historical era, but I started to appreciate the intricacy and the complexities of another country's history, one I never set foot in. I always liked samurais and whatnot, but after completing it, I started to dig deeper in the history of Japan, not told as a fairy tale, but as a complex turmoil of chained events that led to the Japan we know today. For a video game to push me so far is not granted, and I must praise it when it does happen. Like a Dragon Ishin is not the best Yakuza game, far from it. I will not try to defend its weakest points, but I want to make clear how much this game made me dream and excited from start to finish. Ishin has a very special place in my heart, and if you are a fan of this time and place, do not hesitate twice to pick up your katana and head to Kyoto. Like a Dragon Ishin is a title that I enjoyed that I highly recommend, despite its shortcomings. What is frustrating to me, and probably to many other fans, is that the RGG Studio took the decision to make what is essentially a historical game more wacky in the gameplay, without a proper reason, just to change up the experience. Looking past that, I believe Ishin is a very solid title, both of the Yakuza franchise but also as a standalone, while that potentially you could play as your very first Like a Dragon game. The story is fantastic, the atmosphere is unreal, a title that can be played for more than 30 hours. I wish to thank Sega for finally localizing this entry, and to my friend Tito for gifting me this game in the first place. But this is not the sole samurai or shinobi themed video game out there. There are many in fact, some discussed by my friends creators over their channel. Be sure to give them a watch, they all made wonderful videos that deserve to be watched and enjoyed like this one. If you made it this far, I wanted to thank you one-to-many like a Dragon Ishin for watching today's video. I also wish to thank all the creators that participated in this collaboration. Be sure to check them out and tell us what is your favorite Japan-themed game. I wish you all a wonderful day, and until next time, arrivederci!